Your mother and I are moving in this weekend." Paula stood barefoot in the middle of her new lake house, phone pressed to her ear, the floorboards cold under her feet. Outside, the lake was black and still under the moonlight. Inside, her father's voice filled the room like he already owned it. "What?" Paula said. Gerald Mitchell sighed, the way he always did when he wanted her to feel slow. "The condo sale closes Friday. Movers are booked for Saturday morning. Your mom already agreed we'll take the downstairs bedroom." Paula looked toward that bedroom, the one she had imagined turning into a quiet office, the one with the wide window facing the water. "I never agreed to that," she said. Her father laughed once. "You bought all that space, don't act poor now." Then her mother's voice came on, softer but sharper. "Paula, don't embarrass us. We already told people." Paula's fingers tightened around the phone. Gerald came back on and said, "If that's a problem, you can move out." For a second, Paula couldn't speak. She was 34 years old. She had quit a job that had drained the life out of her, emptied years of savings, signed every closing document herself, and bought this house because she needed one place that did not come with someone else's demands. But one sentence from her father made her feel 12 again. Gerald kept talking. "We'll need the alarm code, and don't put your mother upstairs. Her knees can't handle it." Paula stared at the kitchen table. A manila folder sat beside her laptop. Inside were printed emails, screenshots from the smart lock, and a copy of the deed with only one name on it. Hers. She had not expected this exact call tonight, but she had expected something. That afternoon, the new lock on the front door had sent 2 alerts to her phone. Someone had tried to open it using a code Paula never created. Twice. The code had been her birthday. Paula swallowed, then let her shoulders relax. "Come Saturday morning," she said. There was a pause. Gerald's voice turned satisfied. "Good, finally." In the background, Elaine whispered, "She learned gratitude." Paula ended the call. The house went silent again, except for the low creak of wood settling and water brushing against the dock outside. She opened the folder, took out a yellow sticky note, and wrote 2 words across it. "Welcome home." Then she stuck it to the front of the folder and looked toward the locked front door. Because before her parents ever called, Paula had already found the first piece of proof. But what else had they done? The week before Gerald's phone call, Paula's mother had arrived at the lake house carrying lemon bread and wearing the kind of smile she used when she wanted something but planned to call it love. "I just want to see where my daughter disappeared to," Elaine said, stepping inside before Paula could fully move out of the doorway. Paula had still been unpacking then. Boxes lined the hallway. The kitchen smelled like cardboard, dust, and fresh paint. The lake glittered through the back windows, bright and calm, and for one afternoon Paula tried to believe her mother was only there to be proud of her. Elaine walked slowly from room to room, touching things Paula had not even arranged yet. "This downstairs bedroom gets the morning light," Elaine said. "I know," Paula answered. "I thought it would make a good office." Elaine's smile thinned. "An office? Honey, you quit your job." Paula bent over a box so her mother would not see her face change. Elaine moved onto the screened porch and looked out at the water. "Your father's recliner would fit right there. He could watch the boats." Paula gave a small laugh because that was what she always did when her mother said something invasive with a sweet voice. "I'm not sure Dad's recliner matches my fresh start aesthetic." Elaine turned. "Fresh starts are nice. Family is permanent." That sentence stayed with Paula after Elaine left. Then the small things started lining up. Gerald texted, "Send the alarm code in case of emergencies." Paula ignored it. Elaine called the next morning and asked, "Where are you hiding the spare key?" "Under a planter. You always forget where you put things." "I'm not hiding one," Paula said. "Well, that's not very practical." Then Cousin Marlene called 2 days later, cheerful and loud. "I heard the big news. Your parents retiring by the lake. That's beautiful, Paula, really generous." Paula went still in the middle of unscrewing a cabinet handle. "Who told you that?" MMM. Your mom mentioned it. She said you finally had room for them. Finally. That word sat in Paula's stomach like a stone. That night, Paula called Elaine. Mom, why does Marlene think you and Dad are moving in with me? Elaine was quiet for half a beat too long. Oh, Paula, people misunderstand things. She said you told her. I said we were happy you had a place big enough for family. That's different. Are you planning something? Elaine's voice softened instantly, turning wounded. After everything we did for you, is it really so terrible that we want to be near the water? There it was. The old debt. Gerald and Elaine had paid part of Paula's college tuition years ago. Not all of it, not even most of it, but enough that Gerald had turned it into a lifetime contract. Every promotion Paula earned was because they invested in her. Every bonus meant she should remember who helped her. Every boundary became proof she had changed. Paula closed her eyes. Mom, wanting to visit is different from telling people you're moving in. Elaine's voice hardened. You make everything sound ugly. Before Paula could answer, her laptop chimed. An email had arrived from a moving company. Subject line, delivery confirmation, Mitchell household move. Paula opened it. Her address was listed as the destination. Gerald's name was listed as the customer. The scheduled delivery was Saturday morning. At the bottom, one line made her hand go cold. Resident confirmed receiving party, Paula Mitchell. Paula had confirmed nothing. She hung up without saying goodbye and called the moving company directly. A dispatcher answered. Lakeview Relocation, this is Anna. My name is Paula Mitchell, Paula said. You have a delivery scheduled to my house. I did not authorize it. There was typing on the other end. One moment. Yes, ma'am, I see an authorization letter attached. A what? A receiving authorization. It says you approve delivery of household goods to the property and access instructions will be provided on arrival. Paula stared at the screen. Can you send me a copy? I can send it to the email on file. The email on file better be mine. Another pause. Then Anna said carefully, It is. When the attachment came through, Paula opened it and saw her name typed at the bottom. Not signed. Typed. For a moment, she wanted to call Gerald and scream until her throat hurt. Instead, she did something he would never expect. She got quiet. She forwarded the email to the property attorney her realtor had recommended at closing, then called his office and explained everything in one breath. The relatives, the fake confirmation, the moving truck, the parents who believed pressure counted as permission. The attorney listened, then said, Paula, listen carefully. If they show up with movers, do not let their belongings cross your threshold. What happens if they do? They may try to claim you allowed them to establish residency. It would be messy, expensive, and exactly the kind of leverage people use when they know they have no legal right. Paula looked at the lake, then at the door her mother had asked about too many times. What should I do before Saturday? Document everything, keep them outside, have proof ready, and make sure they have no access. After the call, Paula changed every smart lock code, deleted every temporary access setting, and checked the security alerts again. Then she opened a rental website and booked something for Saturday morning. Not for herself, for Gerald and Elaine. By 7:52 Saturday morning, the lake road was no longer quiet. Paula heard the first truck before she saw it. The engine groaned up the gravel driveway, followed by the harsh beep of revering brakes and the crunch of tires over loose stone. She stood on the porch with her laptop on the small table beside her, the manila folder under one hand and the yellow sticky note still on top. Welcome home. A second moving truck pulled in behind the first. Then came Gerald's SUV. Then Marlene's sedan. Then Paula's uncle Ray in his pickup. Stepping out with a grocery store cake balanced in one hand like this was a celebration. Elaine emerged from the passenger seat, holding a bouquet of white flowers. Gerald got out last, smiling. Not nervous, not apologetic, smiling like a man, arriving at a place that had already surrendered. He clapped once at the movers. Downstairs bedroom first. That's our suite. Living room furniture can go through the front. Paula did not move from the porch. The lead mover glanced at her. Ma'am, you the homeowner. I am, Paula said, and nothing is being unloaded. Gerald's smile twitched. Elaine hurried up the porch steps and wrapped Paula in a tight hug that smelled like perfume and panic. Her mouth brushed Paula's ear. Don't make a scene, Elaine whispered. Paula gently stepped back. There's already a scene. I didn't bring the trucks. Marlene walked closer, confused. Paula, what's going on? Your mom said this was the move-in breakfast. Gerald turned toward the small crowd as if Paula had handed him a microphone. Your mother and I sold our condo because Paula invited us. Now she's acting like she doesn't remember. Paula felt every pair of eyes shift to her. Uncle Ray frowned. You invited them and changed your mind. I didn't invite them, Paula said. Gerald's voice rose. Don't humiliate us in front of working men. Your mother packed her whole life because of you. Elaine dabbed under one eye with a folded tissue. She's been overwhelmed since quitting her job. I told Gerald we should be patient. The words landed exactly where Elaine aimed them. Overwhelmed. Unstable. Ungrateful. Paula saw Marlene's expression soften with doubt, and for a second the old instinct came back. Explain gently, apologize for the misunderstanding, keep everyone comfortable. Instead, Paula turned to the lead mover. Could you please read what your file says about authorization? The man shifted his clipboard. Ma'am, I don't want to get in the middle of family business. This isn't family business, Paula said. This is delivery to private property. Gerald stepped forward. I authorized it. Paula looked at him. No, you said I did. The mover checked his tablet, cleared his throat, and read, Delivery approved by receiving resident Paula Mitchell. Access instructions to be provided on arrival. Permanent household delivery. Marlene's mouth opened slightly. Paula asked, where did that authorization come from? The mover looked between her and Gerald. It was uploaded by the customer. Gerald waved one hand. Families don't need contracts. No, Paula said, but moving companies do. A white compact car came up the driveway before Gerald could answer. It parked behind the trucks, and a woman with short gray hair stepped out holding a folder of her own. Gerald and Elaine Mitchell, she called. Elaine lowered her tissue. Who are you? I'm Denise Harper. I manage the rental cabin on Birch Road. Paula reserved it for you for 2 weeks. Check-in starts at 9, but I came early because she said there might be moving trucks. Gerald stared at Paula like she had slapped him. You booked us a cabin. I booked you somewhere legal to put your furniture, Paula said. Denise held up the packet. It's a furnished 2-bedroom. Storage lot is 3 miles away if the trucks can't unload everything. Elaine's voice cracked. Paula, this is cruel. What's cruel? Paula said. Is selling your condo and telling my family you were moving into my home without asking me. Gerald's face flushed dark red. You are not turning your parents away like strangers. You arrived like strangers, Paula said. Strangers with trucks. The lead mover shut his tablet case. Ma'am, if you're refusing delivery, I need that in writing. Paula lifted a signed paper from the porch table and handed it to him. Already prepared. Gerald's confidence cracked then, not fully but enough that everyone saw it. His jaw tightened. His eyes cut toward Marlene, then Ray, then the movers, calculating who was still on his side. The mover read the refusal, nodded, and said to his crew, Hold unloading. Nothing comes off. Gerald stormed toward the porch steps. We're going inside to talk privately. Paula stepped in front of the door. No. Elaine hissed, Paula. Paula raised her voice so the entire driveway could hear. No one enters my house today. For the first time that morning, Gerald stopped smiling completely. Then he walked back to his SUV, yanked open the rear door, and pulled out a folder Paula had never seen before. He held it up for the relatives. "Fine," he said. "Then I'll show them the papers that prove this house was never just yours." Gerald's folder looked too clean. That was the first thing Paula noticed. No bent corners, no coffee stain, no loose receipts shoved inside the way Gerald handled real paperwork. He carried it like a prop, pinched between two fingers, waiting for an audience. And now he had one. Marlene stood beside Elaine, arms folded tight across her chest. Uncle Ray lowered the cake onto the hood of his pickup. The movers had gone still near the truck ramp, watching without trying to look like they were watching. Even Denise, the rental host, stayed beside her car with her reservation packet pressed to her chest. Gerald climbed one porch step. Paula did not back up. "Stay where you are," she said. He smiled at that, but it was thin now. "You hear this? My own daughter won't let her father stand on her porch." Paula looked down at his shoes. "You're already standing on it." His smile disappeared. Elaine stepped forward, her bouquet drooping in her hand. "Gerald, just show them. She's forcing this." Gerald opened the folder and removed 3 printed pages stapled at the corner. "Since Paula wants to pretend this is some kind of misunderstanding," he said, turning toward Marlene and Ray, "here is the agreement." Marlene frowned. "What agreement?" "The family agreement," Gerald said. "The one where Paula agreed this home was purchased as a shared retirement arrangement." Paula's stomach tightened. For one sick second, she wondered if he had found something real. Some clause she had missed. Some document buried in the closing packet that could be twisted just enough to hurt her. Gerald held the pages out. Marlene took them first. Her eyes moved over the paper. "It says Paula bought the house with the understanding you and Elaine would sell the condo and contribute to household expenses." Elaine lifted her chin, suddenly calm, too calm. "That's what we discussed as a family." "No," Paula said. "That never happened." Gerald pointed at the page. "It has your name on it." Paula reached for the paper. Marlene hesitated, then handed it over. Paula scanned the bottom. Her name was there. Paula Mitchell. Typed. Not signed. Not witnessed. Not notarized. Not dated in a way that matched any conversation she had ever had. Just typed under a paragraph Gerald clearly thought sounded official. Paula looked up. "This is not a legal agreement." Gerald laughed. "Now she's a lawyer." "No," Paula said, "but I know the difference between my signature and my name in 12-point font." One of the movers coughed and looked away. Elaine's eyes flicked toward him. Gerald snatched the paper back. "You're splitting hairs because you're embarrassed." "I'm not embarrassed," Paula said. "You should be." The driveway went quiet. Gerald's face hardened. "Careful." There it was again, the old warning, the tone he had used when Paula was a teenager and forgot to empty the dishwasher, the tone that used to make her apologize before she even knew what she had done. But this time, Paula had nowhere to shrink. Because the house was behind her. Her house. Denise stepped forward carefully. "Mr. Mitchell, the rental cabin is ready, but I do need your card for incidentals before I can release the keys." Gerald turned on her. "I'm not giving you anything. We are not being exiled to some cabin like vagrants." The lead mover spoke next. "Sir, we also can't sit here all day. If delivery is refused, we'll need a redirect address or it goes into storage." "No one is redirecting anything," Gerald snapped. "Unload the truck." The mover looked at Paula. "Homeowner says no." Gerald jabbed a finger toward the fake agreement. "I say yes." "And you're not listed on the property," Paula said. Elaine's calm cracked. "Because you insisted on doing the closing alone." Paula turned to her mother. That sentence landed differently. "What did you just say?" Elaine pressed her lips together. Gerald cut in fast. "She means you made everything difficult." But Paula was already remembering. Elaine's visit. The lemon bread. The way she wandered into the kitchen while Paula took a call from the internet company. The way Paula came back and found her mother standing near the table, phone angled downward, smiling too quickly. On that table had been a blank closing envelope from the title company. Paula had not thought anything of it. Now she saw it clearly. "You took pictures," Paula said. Elaine gripped the flowers harder. "Don't be ridiculous. You photographed my closing paperwork. I took pictures of the house. You used details from my paperwork to make that fake agreement look real." Marlene turned slowly toward Elaine. "Aunt Elaine." Elaine's face flushed. "We were trying to protect ourselves." "From what?" Paula asked. "Me owning my own house." Gerald stepped up another half step. Paula picked up her laptop from the porch table and opened it. "No closer." He stopped. She turned the screen so everyone could see. "Here is the recorded deed," Paula said. "Only my name." She clicked. "Here are the utility accounts. Only my name." Another click. "Here are the smart lock logs from Thursday afternoon. 2 failed access attempts using a code I never created." Marlene leaned closer. "What code?" Paula looked at Gerald. "My birthday." Gerald said nothing. Paula clicked again. "And here is the moving company email with the authorization letter attached. My name typed at the bottom, just like that agreement." Uncle Ray stepped toward Gerald. "Did you type her name on those papers?" Gerald's jaw worked once. "This is family. You people are acting like this is court." Paula reached for her phone. Gerald's eyes sharpened. "What are you doing?" "What my attorney told me to do if you refuse to leave." Elaine's voice rose. "You wouldn't dare do this to your mother." Paula dialed. She put the call on speaker. "County Sheriff's Office, non-emergency line." A dispatcher answered. Paula kept her voice steady. "My name is Paula Mitchell. I'm at my residence on Lake Heron Road. I have people here attempting to enter my home without permission, movers trying to deliver property I did not authorize, and documents using my name that I did not sign." Gerald exploded. "She's lying. This is a family dispute." The dispatcher asked, "Are they refusing to leave?" Paula looked at her father. Gerald's chest rose and fell. Elaine whispered, "Gerald, maybe we should." "No," he snapped. Paula answered, "Yes, they are refusing." The dispatcher said a deputy would be sent. As Paula ended the call, the lead mover walked closer, lowering his voice. "Ma'am," he said, "there's something else you should know." Gerald turned. "Don't say another word." The mover ignored him. When Mr. Mitchell booked the move, he asked whether our delivery confirmation could be used for a change of address verification. Said he needed proof the household was relocating here. Paula's grip tightened around her phone. Marlene stepped back from Elaine, like something had finally become visible. Then tires crunched at the foot of the driveway. A sheriff's cruiser rolled past the first moving truck and stopped beside the porch. The deputy stepped out, adjusted his belt, and looked at Gerald, Elaine, Paula, the relatives, the movers, the fake papers, and the unopened front door. Then he said, "Who here claims they live at this address?" Gerald answered before anyone else could breathe. "My wife and I do," he said, lifting his chin. "We're moving in today." The deputy looked at him, then at the 2 trucks still sitting full in the driveway. "Do you currently reside here, sir?" Gerald held up the folder. "We have an agreement." Paula stayed where she was, one hand on the porch rail, the other resting beside her laptop. She did not interrupt. She let him speak first. Because that was what men like Gerald did when they thought volume could become evidence. The deputy took the pages from him and read silently. Elaine stood behind Gerald with the flowers hanging at her side, the white petals bruised from her grip. Marlene watched her aunt's face instead of the paper. Uncle Ray stood near the pickup, arms crossed now, the cake forgotten on the hood. The deputy looked up. "This has a typed name at the bottom." Gerald's mouth tightened. "That is my daughter's name." "I can see that," the deputy said. "I asked if you have proof you live here." Gerald pointed toward the trucks. "Our belongings are here." "They're in a truck," the deputy said, "not in the house." Paula opened the manila folder and handed over the first document. "This is the recorded deed," she said. "Only my name is listed." The deputy read it. She handed him the next, closing statement. Then another, homeowner's insurance. Then another, utilities. She turned the laptop slightly. "And these are the smart lock logs from Thursday afternoon. 2 failed entry attempts before they ever called to tell me they were moving in." The deputy looked at the screen. Whose code was used? "My birthday," Paula said. Gerald scoffed. "Children use birthdays for everything. That proves nothing." Paula clicked to the next file. "This is the moving company email confirming delivery to my property. It says I authorized it. I did not." The lead mover stepped forward. "Deputy, she called us before delivery and disputed the authorization. We have that note in our system." The deputy nodded. "And who uploaded the authorization?" The mover looked at Gerald. "The customer account was under Mr. Mitchell." Gerald's face reddened. "I handled logistics because Paula gets overwhelmed." Paula heard the familiar insult, but this time it did not land the way he wanted. It sounded smaller outside, spoken in front of people who were finally comparing it to facts. The deputy turned to Elaine. "Ma'am, did you know this authorization was submitted under your daughter's name?" Elaine looked at Gerald. That was the first crack. Not fear, not confusion, calculation. For years, Elaine had been the soft edge of Gerald's control. She turned demands into guilt. She turned pressure into family tradition. She made Paula feel cruel for noticing when something hurt. Now she stood in the driveway, searching Gerald's face for the next version of the story. Gerald said, "Don't answer that like we did something wrong." Marlene's voice came quietly from behind them. "Did you?" Elaine turned. "Marlene, this is between parents and a daughter." "No," Marlene said, holding up the printed email Paula had shown her. "You told me Paula invited you. You told everyone she wanted you here." Elaine's eyes filled, but no tears fell. "We thought once we were here, she would see reason." Paula stared at her mother. There it was. Not a misunderstanding. Not excitement. Not people misunderstood things. They had sold the condo first. They had told relatives Paula had invited them. They had booked movers under Paula's supposed approval. They had made a fake family agreement with her typed name at the bottom. They had planned to arrive with witnesses, furniture, and nowhere else to go, trusting Paula would freeze under the pressure and let the first box cross the doorway. And once their belongings were inside, Gerald would call it proof. Proof they lived there. Proof Paula had accepted it. Proof she owed them the house because they had already given up theirs. The deputy looked back at Gerald. "Sir, based on what I'm seeing, you do not have legal residency here. The homeowner has refused entry and delivery. You need to leave the property." Gerald stared at him. "You're taking her side." "I'm looking at ownership and permission," the deputy said. "You don't have either." Elaine's voice trembled now, but it had a sharp edge. "So we're supposed to be homeless because our daughter wants to punish us." Denise, still holding the rental packet near her car, cleared her throat. "You have a 2-week cabin reserved on Birch Road. It's ready now. I just need your card for incidentals." Gerald spun toward Paula. "You paid for that." "No," Paula said. "I reserved it. I paid the deposit to keep you from claiming you had nowhere to go. The rest is yours." The lead mover checked his watch. "Mr. Mitchell, if we're redirecting to the cabin, there's a fee. If not, the shipment goes to storage and there's a storage charge." Gerald looked from the movers to Denise to the deputy, and Paula watched the arithmetic hit him. The condo was gone. The trucks were full. The house was locked. The crowd was no longer useful. And Paula was not moving. Uncle Ray stepped closer, his voice low. "Gerald, tell me you didn't type her name on those papers." Gerald did not answer. That silence did more than any confession could have. Marlene covered her mouth and looked away. Elaine's shoulders dropped. The deputy handed the fake agreement back, but Gerald did not reach for it at first. Paula picked it up instead. She looked at the typed name at the bottom. Her name, used like a tool, like a key, like a weak spot they could press until the door opened. Then she set it on the porch table beside the folder. "I bought this house," Paula said, her voice clear enough for the relatives, the movers, and her parents to hear, "because I needed one place where I didn't have to earn permission to breathe." No one answered. The deputy gave Gerald and Elaine the instruction plainly. They were not allowed inside. Their belongings could not be unloaded. If they refused to leave, the situation would move from a family argument to trespassing. Gerald finally pulled out his wallet for Denise, his fingers stiff as he handed over a card. Elaine stood beside the SUV, staring at the lake like it had betrayed her too. The movers closed the truck ramps and redirected the delivery. The sound of metal latches snapping shut echoed across the driveway. Marlene walked up the porch steps, only far enough to speak quietly. "Paula," she said, "I'm sorry, I believed them." Paula nodded once. "I know. I'll call everyone they told." Paula looked past her, at Gerald climbing into the SUV without meeting anyone's eyes. "Tell them the truth," Paula said. "Nothing extra." By noon, the driveway was empty. No boxes had entered the house. No recliner had reached the porch. No suitcase had crossed the threshold. But the damage Gerald and Elaine had caused followed them anyway. The moving company charged Gerald for the failed delivery and redirection. Denise charged the cabin balance and incidentals. The larger furniture that would not fit went to storage, where another monthly bill started immediately. Within days, the condo sale money Gerald had imagined as freedom was tied up in temporary housing, storage fees, legal consultations, and penalties he had created himself. The family reaction shifted just as quickly. Marlene called the relatives Gerald and Elaine had misled. She did not make a public spectacle. She did not need to. The facts were enough. Gerald had told people Paula invited them. Elaine had let them arrive with flowers and a cake. Both had stood in Paula's driveway while fake paperwork sat in Gerald's hand. The invitation slowed first. Then the check-in calls stopped. Then the sympathy dried up. People who had once told Paula, "That's just how your father is," began avoiding Gerald's calls because now they knew exactly how far that could go. 3 days later, Paula's attorney sent one written message on her behalf. Gerald and Elaine Mitchell were not permitted at the lake house without written permission. They were not to use Paula's address for mail, deliveries, residency claims, or financial documents. Any further attempt to enter, claim occupancy, or use her name would be handled legally. Elaine left 7 voicemails the first night. The first was tearful. "Paula, I don't know how you can sleep knowing your parents are in a rental." The third was cold. "You've become someone I don't recognize." The 7th sounded like Gerald had written it for her. Family property should stay in the family. Paula saved every message and answered none of them. For the first time, silence was not fear. It was a boundary. Weeks passed. The lake house settled into the life Paula had imagined before anyone tried to take it from her. Mornings came pale and silver through the kitchen windows. The air smelled like coffee, cedar, and water. The downstairs bedroom Elaine had claimed became Paula's office, with a wide desk facing the lake and shelves filled with files, books, and the small things Paula had chosen for herself. On the wall above the desk, in a simple frame, was the yellow sticky note. "Welcome home." Not because it was funny. Not because Paula wanted to remember the day her parents arrived with moving trucks and lies. Because it reminded her that the welcome had never been for them. It had been for the woman who finally stopped opening the door just because someone demanded it. Gerald lost the power he had spent years treating like a birthright. He could no longer turn Paula's achievements into family assets. He could no longer raise his voice and expect her to shrink. He could no longer gather relatives like a jury and count on her silence as his evidence. And Paula kept everything he had tried to claim. The house. The porch. The lake view. The quiet. One morning, she woke before sunrise, made coffee in the kitchen her mother had tried to take over, and opened the porch doors while mist lifted off the water. The house was still. The locks were hers. The name on the deed was hers. And for the first time in her life, Paula did not move out of the space someone else wanted. She made them leave hers.